Well, howdy, folks, and this is Scott here with a very wholehearted and friendly howdy. I hope it's not too bumpy for you. I'm trying to keep it as still as possible while also concentrating on driving safely, and there's a big truck behind me. Speaking of big trucks, for the second time in my life this weekend, I flipped off another driver, and it was a trucker. Once it happened a couple months ago, and then it happened again just hours ago, and I'm not proud of myself, but nevertheless. Anyway, I'm driving back to the real world from what has been really and truly an amazing Wrestlemania weekend. It's only been a couple days, and it feels like I've been here a week, but it's just been wonderful. And so I wanted to make a quick video, just giving my thoughts and ruminations on the experience, on the weekend, on the show a little bit. Chris is going to call me, or I'm going to call him very shortly, and we're going to maybe talk a little more in depth about some things. So I don't know exactly what I'll share, but I guess I'll just give you an idea of what it was like this weekend. I came in on Saturday. I left home at like 4 in the morning. I got to Houston, which I'm leaving now, and met up with several YouTubers. Gilbert Blaze, Crazy Mike, MB Wrestler, Truth Slayer was there. I got to see Bill and Doug. I honestly was a little nervous. And then when I was ready to speak to them, I'll be honest, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I'm sorry. But they were, so they were there. Went to a Ring of Honor show, ROH, which I enjoyed immensely. And we can talk about that in the future, because I might have to start following them a little more closely. Then let's see. So yeah, I hung out with Gilbert and the gang Saturday night. We met some. Oh, and that's another point I wanted to make. And then I got to see the city a little bit early Sunday. Went to the show Sunday night. So the thing is, if you've never been to a Wrestlemania show, a weekend, a part of what's so amazing to me, and what's really makes me want to do it again, is the fact that the city is just crawling with wrestling fans. Everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's excited. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody is so nice. And I met so many people from all over. I talked to a family from Chicago, Alabama. The kid next to me at Wrestlemania was from Louisiana. There were some guys from England that we met Saturday night that was just wonderful. They were delightful chaps. Those one of them pretty drunk, but delightful. If all Brits could be that delightful when drunk, I'm sorry, I would drink with a Brit every day of my life. Anyway, but that to me what was so wonderful is you would see somebody wearing a Wrestlemania shirt, and you had a connection instantly. Right away, you made friends. So that was something, and honestly, going into it, I was thinking to myself, having to go to the show alone, sitting, I bought a single ticket because I didn't have a choice, I didn't want to buy 2 tickets, so I'd have an empty seat beside me. But yeah, my thought was, oh no, what if I get, wrestling's more fun when experienced with somebody else. And so I said, darn it, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to make friends with whoever's sitting next to me. And that's what I did. There was a kid next to me named Lewis, who, oddly enough, reminded me a lot of Chris. Lewis was maybe 17, 18, 19, I'm guessing. A young kid, much younger than Chris. And but he kind of looked like Chris. He had the same extraordinarily hairy legs that Chris has. It was uncanny. But he was a fun kid, and he was smart, which was nice, because he would he would make his little smart wrestling fan comments, which was nice. But our connection was forged instantly when he said, "So who's your favorite?" And I said, "John Morrison." And he said, "Really?" He said, I thought I was the only one who liked him. I didn't know anybody else liked him." And I was like, my brother. I patted him on the back and said, "We are brothers now, brother." I didn't really say that, and I'm glad I didn't, because that's a rather awkward sounding thing to say. But so we sat and watched the show and talked throughout. It was a lot of fun, and the show itself had its moments, and I'm sure Chris and I will talk about this when we talk about it. But there were times for me, and I don't know if it was the whole being there experience or what. It was worth it. It was well worth it. But I can also see, and Gilbert and I talked about this this morning. He was mad. He said they spent the majority of the show just angry, pissed off, as some people like to say. I don't like to say that. I like to say stymied. But he was not happy with the show, and I can see it. I can see there were disappointments, and quite frankly, most of my picks turned out to be incorrect. I'm not going to say how many. I'm not going to say how many I got correct, but I think Chris and I are going to have a nice long chat when we unveil our predictions. But yeah, a lot of my predictions were wrong. It didn't bother me, but it kind of bothered me. Miz and Morrison, in fact, Lewis and I were talking about it. Miz and Morrison losing to the Colognes. I'm sorry, it's a sin. It's a sin, people. And if the plan is to split up Miz and Morrison come draft time, which I think would be fine, because I think they're both ready to go on their separate ways, more than ready. Fine, but you know, give the tag, the special tag unified titles, give it to somebody a little more worthy. I do need to also say that whole JDL thing with Rey Mysterio, I thought I was under the influence of some hallucinogenic substance. I thought maybe Lewis had slipped me a roofie. It was the most bizarre thing I think I have ever experienced in my life, and I was watching it going, whoa, wait a minute, what? Rey Mysterio comes out. Now, first of all, he doesn't look like himself. I know he was obviously a small Mexican-American fellow with the proper tattooing. When he was walking on the stage, he didn't look like Rey Mysterio. When he was walking down the ramp, he didn't walk like Rey Mysterio. He was, he had that hideous mask with the nose, and it was white, and then he had makeup, he had face paint on, and then he had green neon suspenders. It was crazy. And so, and I was thinking, that's not Rey Mysterio, that's some other freak. Or, not other freak, that's some freak. But, oh, a Starbucks, that's the nice thing, a Starbucks coffee right by my hotel. Delicious. Komodo. Anybody had the Komodo? It's a very bold blend. Okay, yeah, I gotta watch my time. Anyway, yeah, so that just completely freaked me out. And then, so the show had its share of awkward moments. I have to say, though, and Gilbert actually disagrees with this. I thought nobody would ever disagree with this. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. Bloody brilliant. In the words of my drunk English friends, fucking brilliant. I know. I didn't actually say the F word. I said the English equivalent of the F word. F-O-O-K. Anyway, it was amazing. Might be the best match I'll ever experience in my life. I thought it was spectacular, and I can't tell you just how crazy it was to me. Gilbert says it was a 4-star match. We're going to have to see what Gilbert's review looks like. He said he's going to be very unhappy, and he's going to be cussing a lot, in a bad way. He's not going to be saying fucking brilliant. But anyway, yeah, that to me was just insane, and I loved every second of that match. My goodness. And then the show just kind of went downhill from there. I don't know why they ended on such a low note, and I think that's what ruined it for everybody. But like I said, my time is short. I'm kind of keeping a not very good watch on things. But yeah, Chris and I are going to be talking via telephone in a moment, which is always fun and always more than a little awkward, but that's okay. But that's going to be our only chance to make a video between now and then. And I figured, hey, while it's all fresh on our minds, and while, you know, we're still going to be able to get the video up in a fairly somewhat timely manner. But anyway, I thought it was amazing. The whole weekend was great. And I've already begun the process of begging Chris to let's go to Phoenix next year, because it was just it was that good, and I want to do it again. And so that's that, and we'll, I hope everybody who went had fun and made it home safely. You're probably traveling home as I speak, and so I hope you make it home safe, and I hope everybody's well, and we see you soon. And for those of you who didn't make it to the show, I'm curious to see what you thought as a viewer, as an at-home viewer who didn't have the benefit of the whole experience. But anyway, yeah, my time is up, so I'm gonna go now, and I'll be back with you very soon with Chris, and we'll talk more. Bye.